Hi and welcome to the print. Harappan civilization, which was discovered about over 100 years ago, have yielded many significant artifacts, which ended up becoming representative or symbolic artifacts for the civilization's history. One of them is famously known as the Priest King. It's a state-eyed statuette of a man who is in a meditative post. John Marshall, who was the director of the excavation at that time, called this particular or titled this particular figurine as a priest king. He said that he assumed that this person whose state-eyed statuette is whose figure is carved in state-eyed is actually a priest king. Similar to the priest king, there's another very controversial yet very important artifact from Mohenjo-daro, which was uncovered in 1926. It's a bronze statuette of a young girl termed as the dancing girl. This figurine represent a young girl who's standing in a sort of a relaxed position with one hand resting on a hip and other loosely along rest on her side. She's wearing bangles and also a necklace. She hairdo is quite impressive, but she's not wearing any clothes. Therefore, Marshall, who was director of the excavation, took upon himself to title this bronze figurine as the dancing girl. He also termed it as a notch girl. But over 100 years of Harappan archaeology, and yet we have not sort of reevaluated or corrected this misinterpretation. Hi, my name is Dishalu Balia, and in this week's column here at the print, I'll be talking about the dancing girl and whether or not she's actually dancing. Found in 1926 at one of the house complex in the HR area at Mohenjo-daro, the dancing girl, which was titled by Marshall, became a significant figurine, not just because it was termed as dancing girl, but because of the artistic excellence or brilliance that were achieved while making this figurine. It's merely 11 centimeter tall, and yet being very small in size, the finesse and also the features that are represented in the figurine really were remarkable. And because of that, this figurine ended up becoming a sort of a symbol of Harappan civilization. But one of the questions really been asked in recent years and also by many archaeologists and non-archaeologists is whether or not this particular figurine really represent a dancing posture. The answer is quite divided. Many now believe that no, it's not a dancing girl, including myself. I believe that no, it's not a dancing posture at all. But there are some scholars who believe that maybe she does represent a posture which is part of classical dance such as Bharatanatyam. Whether or not this figurine is dancing or whether she's a Nautch girl, the terminology were actually reflection of that time. Marshall, when he was terming this particular figurine as dancing girl, really represented or took upon himself to place the present into the past. As a society was divided, the women and the situation of women and the division of women between the ones who represent the marginalized sector or the ones who represent the much more creamer and higher section of the society became a marker or an index to sort of interpret the past and the antiquities, which are actually about 6 to 5,000 years old. He called it a notch girl because she's not wearing any clothes. The argument was that since she was not wearing any clothes, she's wearing a lot of garments and she's standing in a sort of a loose, a very, very calm and not very in a calm posture. And she's standing in a very loose posture to say she is in a dancing posture. But the truth is that many women and men also like to stand in a resting position where placing their one hand on their waist and the other waist or hip and the other loosely hanging on the side. because she was not wearing any clothes, that became an important parameter to sort of distinguish between whether she's a Nautch girl or whether she is a mother goddess. Now, while Marshall and other colonial officers at that time, they took upon themselves to sort of interpret a lot of artifacts, including the mother goddess. Now, mother goddess also have no clothes on the top. Yes, there are few representation with a waistband and a piece of garment at the low body covering the low body. But what really distinguished between the dancing girl and the mother goddess would have been the headgear. And there are also some figurines where there is a woman holding a child. So therefore, Marshall, who also termed these terracotta figurines as mother goddess, sort of divided the society between the two. That women who are holding a baby have a very elaborate headgear. They represent the mother goddess cult. But whereas a young girl who's not wearing any clothes, but is quite a beautiful figure, she represent a Nautch girl. Now that very interpretation finds no grounds, no evidence archaeologically speaking. There is another side of the prism in this particular argument. Those who refute the dancing girl and the Nautch girl interpretation and look very extreme on the other side call the figurine also as the Parvati or the mother goddess itself. They said that this particular figurine is not of a normal girl, but of and it's not a Nautch girl or a dancing girl, which the terms which places it into a very low strata of the society of that time, and also in many parts even today, belongs to a mother goddess, and they have also linked it to goddess Parvati and also Durga at times. But these are very extreme interpretation. Some art historians believe that this she represent a young girl, a normal girl, and there is particularly no importance to it. But there are also another side of this particular argument is that there is not one dancing girl, there are multiple dancing girls. At Mohenjo-daro in 1926, excavation, two dancing girls were found, one from the HR area, another from the DK area. One is beautifully sort of casted, but the other one is sort of not well made. There is also another dancing girl, again from the DK area, and that one also is a little different, but a woman is standing in the same posture as the OG dancing girl. In Birana's excavation, which is miles away from Mohenjo-daro in Haryana, there a potsherd was found in the excavation which had a graffiti carving of a dancing girl, meaning that the posture with one hand on the hips and the other loosely hanging on the side, this very posture, a sort of a figurative graffiti was found, which sort of tells us that this dancing girl or this figurine was not just limited to Mohenjo-daro. If it was of just a normal girl, we would have only found one. But the fact that there are four different representations, it calls for reevaluation of the dancing girl. Now, the answer is I don't have any conclusive answer. But the reason for this column is sort of to reevaluate or bring a reappraisal of all the arguments that are presented to sort of call it a dancing girl, and those which do not believe. I personally don't think that she's dancing at all. And you tell me if you've seen this figurine, and if you what are your thoughts? Do you think she's dancing, or do you think she belongs to a mother goddess cult? And when I say mother goddess, I also want to point out that many archaeologists, including Shireen Ratnagar and others, have also questioned the very title given to the priest king and also to the mother goddess. So there are a lot of reevaluation that is needed when it comes to early representation, especially of 1920s, when the society was of a very different juncture, and where the sanskari and the non-sanskari tag given to the women, where women and their choices were sort of placed in either two of the brackets. So you tell me, what do you think? Is she dancing? Or is she a mother goddess? Or is she just a normal girl, a young girl of the Harappan times. Thank you so much for listening, and do share your thoughts on this. And if you want to read more detailed version of this column, do read my written column on this, and also the paper that I have co-authored on this very topic. Thank you so much once again for listening, and do like and share this video and subscribe to Print.